Hello, I'm September. Welcome to Indoor Survival 2.0. How many of you live in Texas and Oklahoma? Well, if you do, you know what it's been like the last couple of weeks with the snowpocalypse we had. We've had snow and ice and power outages and rolling power outages and water's pipes bursting, and it's been pretty hard for a lot of people. I know some of my friends down in Dallas were having to boil snow, and because they had a boil order, and how do you do that when you lose your power? That got pretty difficult for some people. But anyway, I am convinced that if you lose power, you can safely cook indoors, and I intend to show you how. So right along with me today, I'm going to be baking with Sterno. And so I've done several trials on this over the last year or so, and I've had people that told me you couldn't do it, that Sterno doesn't put out enough heat, that they've tried it and it failed. Why would I want to do that? And why not use something else? And so I'll tell you that. Sterno is safe to use indoors. We're going to be using a carbon monoxide detector, and it's battery operated. So if you have power out, that's kind of important to have a battery operated carbon monoxide detector. But when your flame burns, doesn't burn oxygen completely, it doesn't have complete combustion, then it puts off carbon monoxide. And that's the danger with using a butane stove or some of the other types of fuel, is that you can't use them indoors because of carbon monoxide. But Sterno is safe to use indoors. We're going to be running this detector while we're cooking so you can see that it's not going to be going off. And we're gonna be making some muffins. So here we go. I'm going to be using 32 bricks. I've got some ceramic 12 by 12 tiles here. I've got some little tiny terrazzo tiles, and I've got 4 cans of Sterno. This is the 6-hour can of Sterno, and these are all brand new cans. I've got a Coleman folding camping oven. This folds down flat. I've got it all put together right now. It's got a little shelf in the middle, and it's got a thermometer that worked until last year. So I'm going to use a temperature gun to watch my temperature on this. So one of the problems I had with some of the tests that I did was that I was using 1 or 2 cans of Sterno, and I could not get the temperature to go above 200 degrees. The aluminum would disperse the heat as fast as it was heating up from below, and it would top out at 200, and I never could get it any higher. So that's when I decided that I needed to figure out a way to have more mass around the outside to help hold in that heat. And so this is what I came up with. So I got some bricks from one of my neighbors, and first I laid them out like this. And what I was doing here was, this is the same size as my stove, and so I laid it out where I used this as a guide, and I'm having the corners of the stove set on these bricks, these 4 bricks here. So this area down in here is my firebox, and the way that I'm going to adjust my heat, which you could do, is using some little tiles underneath here. And if you add more tiles, have like a couple of layers, you would bring it closer to the oven. If you take them away, you bring it farther away from the oven, and that's a way that you could adjust your temperature there. So I've already done my experiments, and I know that I need 1 layer of terrazzo tiles there. Now I want to tell you that with this fireplace, pretend that that's not there. This fireplace has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm doing today. I'm only using this surface as a place to set all my bricks and everything down. But if you live in an apartment or someplace where you don't have access to a fireplace hearth, you can just do something else so you don't burn your countertops. You could try getting some of these 12 by 24 ceramic tiles. You could put a couple of those down and maybe 3, I don't know. Get some of those and lay them down. That could work for you. Just find something else. Maybe you have a stone entryway you could use, but find a place that's safe, that's not going to burn, that's going to support the weight of what you're doing. And that's the only reason I'm using this fireplace here. So I've already built this bottom part that's going to support the oven, and it's going to have my firebox. I've got my terrazzo tiles down in place, and I've got my fuel down here. I know some of you are hikers and you like to weigh your fuel and want to know how much that you use so you can, gauge your rate of consumption. So I've got a digital scale here, and I've already weighed these cans. These are brand new unopened cans, and I'm calling them 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is 11.2 ounces, 11.3, 11.4, and 11.3 ounces. So I've already written that down on a piece of paper. And so now we can get started. So I'm going to finish building my surround for the oven. So I'm going to just kind of move these over to the corners where they're touching these bricks. Kind of separate those out a little bit from each other so that the heat's not too concentrated in the middle. And so now I'm going to put my oven on there. And the rest of these bricks I'm really just going to use to kind of help hold these tiles in place. I didn't have enough bricks to completely make a surround, so I got these tiles, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them here and use those to hold in the heat. So I'm going to put bricks there to just hold those in place. So that's what I'm doing there. Let's put a tile over here. And a brick. Put another brick over here. Alright. Put one in the back. Couple more bricks. Okay, and here's the last one. Okay, so I've got the bricks piled up that high. This gives it the thermal mass we need. It's going to help keep that heat from going anywhere. And then I'm going to finish that off with one up on top. So now I'm ready to do what I should have done a minute ago and take these little caps off this fuel. Doesn't always go exactly as planned, does it? That's okay. And I'll save those for later. This is it, number 4. And here's number 2. Feeling for the placement where I want that to be. So one of the things that I didn't mention a minute ago was that at some point I'm going to need to put this out, and when I do that I'm going to have this oven and everything in my way, and it's not going to be easy to access the flame in the firebox. So I've got this super duper long 8-inch spatula, and I'm going to use this part of it as a snuffer. When you put out any type of canned fuel, whether it's Sterno or anything else, you never want to blow it out. You always want to snuff it out so you don't unintentionally spread it and blow it onto somebody and catch something on fire or somebody. So before I set this up, I had already checked to make sure that this is going to fit and reach to all 4 cans so I can snuff those out. And so it is okay, and now I'm ready to put out my fire. Also, if there is some kind of an accident, I've got my fire extinguisher right there, and I'm ready. So let's put the pan in and get ready to preheat everything. I'm not gonna put the butter in yet because I don't want it to burn, so I'll wait till I'm ready till I've got the pan preheated. So before I light my fires, I want to check the temperatures of everything, and I want to write those down. So the firebox itself, the bricks, I've got 65 degrees. So the bricks are 65 degrees. The cans of Sterno, I've got 67, so we're going to put 67 degrees. The tile on the side, I'm going to get right in the middle, right there, 67 and a half. I call that 67, that's close enough. Tile on top, 67. And the pan, I've got 68.7. I'm going to call that 69. All right, carbon monoxide detector is on, and the time right now is 11:43. Okay, so now we're going to start, and I'm going to light the cans of Sterno. This is where you see me get old, at least my knees. Okay. There's number 2. There's number 1. There's number 3. And number 4. Okay. So that's lit. I'm going to check these temperatures about every 10 minutes until we get this as hot as we want to get it. So, would you like to show the fire in the bottom down there, please? So we've got our 4 cans. Okay, we're gonna edit the video now and I'll come back. I'm using this Betty Crocker triple berry muffin mix, and I really like this one for a couple reasons. One is just because it tastes good. I also like that it's shelf stable and that I only have to add water. So it's handy for me to take camping with me, and if I want it, fine. If I don't want it, fine. But if I do, all I have to do is add water. So I'm gonna make that today, and sometimes I add butter or extra blueberries or something, but it's not necessary. This tastes so good all by itself that I really don't need anything else. This takes a half a cup of water, and there. Use my fork as my handy dandy little whisker, and get that ready. And now I'm just going to leave this here until the oven is preheated, and then we'll put it in the pan. Okay, it's 11:53. It's been 10 minutes. I'm going to do some more temperature testing. So the first temperature is the firebox, and I'm pointing to the floor right between all 4 cans, and I'm getting 124.5, 123, 124. I'm going to call it 124 degrees. Let me write that down. 124. All right, the cans of Sterno in the front. The outside of the can, I've got 91, 92, 89, 93, 95, 94. Okay, I'm going to call this the highest temp. I'm going to go with 95. I want to watch the temp of those cans. Okay, the tile on the side here, in the middle of the tile, I've got 101. Over here, I've got 101. And on the top in the middle, I've got 86. Okay, so 101 and 86. And the reason that's so different is where the vent holes are. If I point this at the edge, it's a lot hotter. Here I'm showing 134, and back in the back there's a vent on the top and it's showing 116. So that's why that's so different. So I'm trying to just get the middle of those. Okay, this pan, the front edge of this pan is already at 270, 290, 280. Okay, it's settled 293, 285. I'm gonna pick one. I'm gonna call it 285. That's fast. 10 minutes. That's way better than even the last time. 285. Carbon monoxide is turned on and it's not beeping, and the time was 11:53. Okay, see you again in a few minutes. All right, we're back. It's been 10 minutes. So let's check these temperatures again. All right, down in the firebox in the middle of all the cans, we're up to 145. The outside of the front two cans, highest temperature, I've got 123.6, so I'm gonna call it 124. Cans are 124, firebox is 143. Okay, the tile on the side, in the middle, here I've got 134. This one I've got 136, so I'm gonna call that 135. We'll split the difference. Tile on top in the middle is 109. Okay, let's see what this pan's gonna be. Okay, on the front edge of the pan, it got up to 306. So now that I've let all the heat out, we're at 306 on the pan. The CO2 alarm is still on and has not beeped. And the time was 12:03, so that was after 20 minutes. Okay, I'll see you in a few more minutes. Hard to be patient. Let's do some more temperature testing. Okay, down here in the firebox between all the cans, it's 161 degrees on the terrazzo tiles. The outside of the cans in the front, got 130, 140. Hang on, I got up on the fire. Let me do that again. Okay, we're around 128 is the highest temperature I'm getting. 133. 133 on the side of the cans in the front. And I already forgot the first one. I think I said 161. Yeah, 162. Okay, on the side, in the middle, I've got 159 and 153. So we'll say 159 there. And on the top in the middle, I've got 128. All right, let's see what that pan's doing. Okay, on the front edge of the pan, got 326. Okay. Don't know why that's not going up. Alright. Let's see what happened there. Alright, it's saying 326. So let's make sure we've got all 4 cans of Sterno burning down here. Use my handy dandy little viewing tool. There I've got 2 cans on that side that are lit, 2 on that side that are lit. So they're all lit. So, okay. We didn't really go up any on that. Alright. Carbon monoxide is on, and the time now was 12:13 when I started that. Now, for those of you who use smokers, you're probably familiar with when you're trying to get the smoker up to temperature, it'll get real close and then it'll kind of stall out and then it'll surge again after a while. That may be what we're experiencing here, so I'm not going to give up on this because I know that it worked for me last time I did it. So we're just going to let this sit here a little bit longer and see if it starts going back up again. So I'll see you in a few. All right, it's 12:23. It's been 40 minutes, so let's check all the temperatures again. All right, down in the middle of the firebox on the terrazzo tile, I've got 174. So we're going up again, yay. All right, the side of the Sterno cans in the front, I've got 139, 135, so I'm gonna call it 139. So 174, 139. Okay, the tiles on the side in the middle, I've got 166, 160 and 166. And the tile on the top in the middle, we're at 142. All right, let's see what this pan's doing now. The last time the pan was 306. So let's see where we are there. Woohoo, 349. Whoa. Okay, so we're almost up to our goal of 400. You know, a lot of things bake at 350. The Pillsbury refrigerated cookie dough, that's 350. So just FYI, if you need to know that, you can cook Pillsbury refrigerated cookie dough with 4 cans of Sterno. All right, I'll see you in a few more minutes. It's been 50 minutes, and let's do one last temperature check. I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to use it now. We've got in the bottom of the firebox 184. The outside of the cans, we're looking at 145 there and 142. I'm going to say 145. Let's see. I ran out of space to write this. Okay, 145 on the Sterno cans, I think I said 185 on the bottom of the firebox. Tiles on the side, we've got 179 and 180. We'll say 180. Tile on top, 155. And the pan is at I got 373. So this is going to be 379. Okay, we're gonna say 379. We're gonna call this hot enough, and the time is 12:33. I'm gonna go ahead and put in the batter and start cooking it, and we'll see where that goes. Because it might go up in time and temperature while it's in there. So I'm going to go ahead and start it before it gets to temp. Shut that and put a little butter in. I like my butter. I'm Swede. Swedes like butter. Ah, I didn't look, did it? Well, sometimes you get a little more and sometimes a little less. And this is not just butter in the pan, this is also buttering the biscuits. That's why I'm putting so much in each one, because we don't have to butter the muffins afterwards. They're already buttered on the bottom. Okay. And that's already spread around enough. I don't need to spread that around. Okay. Let's add the batter. And this doesn't have to be exact, just get it all out of the bowl and get it in here. They don't have to be filled the exact same. Just do your best. It works. Oh boy, this already smells good. Get a little more in that one. Get a little more in that one. Maybe a little more in the next one over. Okay, that's fine. That'll work. Let's start the timer and get it in the oven. Okay, the time is 12:37. I'm going to put this in for 18 minutes. So I'll see them. So I want you to see this. Can you see that the edges are browned? So that is completely done. And that's how you cook, how you bake muffins with Sterno if you lose your power. Okay, so I'm going to snuff out these cans safely. Sometimes this is a little tricky getting it back here in this firebox. Reach back there, get that one out. I'm just a little bit shy. It's too far. There, I got it. All right, let's pull this one up a little bit. Safety first, guys. All right, fire's out. When I get the muffins cooled off, I'll be back and we'll do the taste test. Thank you. Okay, the muffins have cooled off, and I'm going to go ahead and take them out of the pan and we can give it a try. You can see the bottom. Look how easy that just comes right out of the pan, and they're fluffy and light too. Woo, that fell apart. That like never happens, but it did. So here we go. You can see the bottom, how it got nice and brown. Let's try another one, see if we can get it without destroying it. I usually, there we go. All right, so these are just popping right out of here. And that's because it was hot when we put the batter. When the batter hits the pan, it's hot and it's buttered, and they just pop right out of this pan. So for those of you who use these little wedge cast iron pans, or you're afraid to use them because you don't want to have to clean it, I want you to see how easy that's going to be to clean. It just doesn't really stick in there. Okay, now I'm going to take the Sterno and measure it, and we'll see how much we used. I'll get these out of the way. Dismantle the top part of this oven. Find a cool place to set these. That'll work. Okay, so let's weigh these. Make sure this is still zeroed, that I didn't mess that up. Come on. Okay, that's zeroed. All right. All right, that's cooled off enough to touch. So can number one is now at 8.7 ounces. It was 11.2. Can number 2 was 11.3, and it now weighs 8.7. 8.8. Can number 3 had weighed in at 11.4, and it now weighs 8.9. So we consistent with the amount it's burning. Can number 4 weighed in at 11.3. I didn't see that go to 0. There we go. 9.0. Okay. 9.0. So, I'll do the math here in a minute. Got some totals for you here. The total amount of fuel used was 9.8 ounces. And each can was 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, and 2.3. The total amount of time cooking, the preheat time was 54 minutes. The actual cooking time was 16 minutes. So I want to thank you for watching today. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. I would love to read your comments below. If you want to send me a message, if you've got some suggestions or questions, you can send me an email at indoorsurvival2.0@gmail.com. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.